Did you know some objects and items can invite negative energy or demonic influences into our homes? Some items may seem harmless, but in Islam, we learn that certain things can affect our spiritual well-being and even impact our relationship with Allah. So, we're sharing 5 demonic things you need to get out of your house now. We'll discuss each item in detail, explaining why it's important to remove it and backing each point with verses from the Quran and Hadith. This way, you'll understand the reasons and feel motivated to keep your home spiritually pure and peaceful. So before we begin, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more valuable Islamic insights and reminders to strengthen your iman. Section 1. Idols or statues. In Islam, the concept of the oneness of Allah is fundamental. This belief teaches us that only Allah deserves worship, love, and reverence above all else. Anything that distracts from or threatens this belief is discouraged. One common item that can lead us away from the purity of oneness is the presence of idols or statues in our homes, even if they are only used for decoration. Idols and statues have a long history and are often associated with worship in different cultures. Many civilizations, like those of ancient Egypt, Greece, and even societies in Arabia before Islam, placed great importance on statues and idols. People used these figures to represent their gods or spiritual beings, often forgetting the true creator. Over time, these cultures began associating these images with divine powers, forgetting Allah as the only source of all power and wisdom. As Muslims, we must take care to avoid anything that resembles idol worship. Even if we do not worship these statues, keeping them around can create an environment that conflicts with our Islamic beliefs. Having such items in our homes can subtly influence our thinking, making us more attached to objects and less aware of the importance of focusing on Allah alone. When he said to his father and his people, "What are these statues you are devoted to?" They said, "We found our fathers worshiping them," he said. "Surely you and your fathers have been in open error." Prophet Ibrahim is a great example of a prophet who strongly opposed idol worship. He challenged his people when they were deeply attached to statues and idols. Prophet Ibrahim bravely questioned their actions, asking them why they would bow down to something that could neither benefit nor harm them. This powerful message from Prophet Ibrahim serves as a reminder to us all. Only Allah has the power to help us or cause us harm, and worshiping anything other than Him goes against our faith. For many, idols or statues may appear harmless, often seen as simple decor. However, as Muslims, we are advised to go beyond appearances and think about the impact these items may have on our faith and our homes. By removing idols and statues, we take a step closer to creating a home that's focused solely on Allah and filled with blessings. This small action can profoundly change our spiritual lives, making our homes places of worship, peace, and purity. Section 2. Pictures of living beings in excess. Another item that may seem harmless but can affect a home's spiritual environment is having an excess of pictures or images of living beings, such as people or animals. In Islam, moderation is key in everything, and when it comes to pictures, especially those that are prominently displayed, it's essential to be cautious. While having family photos or memories is a common practice, excessive display of such images can sometimes bring unintended effects into the home. Why might this be a problem? In Islam, we're encouraged to cultivate humility and modesty. When we surround ourselves with too many pictures, especially those showing people in glamorous or overly polished ways, it can create a sense of attachment to worldly appearances. Over time, this can lead to pride, vanity, or a desire to showcase one's status or beauty. This kind of focus on external appearances distracts us from nurturing our inner character and values, which Islam places a high emphasis on. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Angels do not enter a house in which there is a dog or there are pictures." Islamic teachings urge us to keep our hearts and minds focused on what truly matters, like kindness, honesty, and a close relationship with Allah. When we fill our surroundings with images that emphasize worldly qualities, we can subtly shift our attention to temporary things. Excessive displays can create an atmosphere where we focus more on impressing others or seeking approval than on our inner growth and humility. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "The image makers will be punished on the day of resurrection and will be told, 'Give life to that which you have created.'" In this hadith, the term image makers refers to those who create likenesses of living beings, especially when these images are used to seek pride or serve purposes that go against humility and simplicity. The Prophet, peace be upon him, emphasized that this practice can lead people away from Allah's guidance. When our homes are filled with excessive images, we may risk developing attachments to worldly beauty or success, which can become a barrier in our spiritual lives. This hadith teaches us an important lesson. Modesty is an essential value in Islam, and anything that takes us away from it should be avoided. By limiting the pictures and images in our homes, we create an environment that focuses more on the inner qualities that Islam cherishes. Instead of filling our walls and shelves with pictures, we can consider alternative ways to decorate that still bring beauty and peace to the home. Islamic calligraphy, or decor that reminds us of Allah, can add beauty to the home while keeping the focus on what truly matters. Islam encourages us to surround ourselves with reminders of Allah, helping us keep our hearts soft and our minds focused on higher values. By minimizing excessive pictures, we create a home atmosphere that supports spiritual growth and keeps our attention on qualities that benefit us in this life and the next. Making this small change in our homes can help us remain grounded, humble, and connected to Allah's guidance, creating a house filled with peace and tranquility. Section 3. Amulets for protection. In many cultures, it's common to see people using amulets, often worn or hung in the home, to protect against evil or harm. While the intention behind using these items may be sincere, relying on amulets for safety and security goes against the core teachings of Islam. In Islam, we are taught to place our complete trust in Allah alone. The concept of the oneness of Allah requires that we do not depend on anything else for protection or blessings, as Allah alone is our protector and provider. One reason people often use amulets is fear of the unknown or a desire to ward off evil forces. These objects are sometimes believed to have powers, but Islam guides us to think that nothing in this world holds power except the will of Allah. Whether we seek protection from illness, misfortune, or any harm, the best approach in Islam is to turn to Allah through dua, salah, and reliance on His wisdom. It's important to remember that using objects like amulets can unintentionally weaken our faith. When we start believing that a physical object can protect us, our dependency shifts away from Allah and onto the creation. This form of belief, even if subtle, is a type of shirk, associating partners with Allah, which is considered a serious sin in Islam. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever ties a knot and blows on it he has practiced magic, and whoever practices magic, he has committed shirk, and whoever hangs up something as an amulet will be entrusted to it. In this hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, explicitly mentions that relying on amulets for protection is an act of shirk. Shirk is the act of associating partners with Allah, something that goes directly against the very foundation of the Islamic faith. When we believe that a charm or amulet can protect us, it detracts from our complete trust in Allah's power. This is why Islam strongly discourages the use of such objects. Instead, Islam encourages us to use the means of protection approved by Allah, such as reciting the verses of the Quran, seeking refuge in Allah with dua from the Sunnah, and relying on our sincere faith in Allah's ability to protect us from all harm. For instance, the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us to recite the last 3 surahs for protection against damage. These powerful, authentic forms of protection strengthen our iman and keep us close to Allah. If you have any amulets or similar objects, consider replacing them with authentic Islamic practices. Make a habit of reciting the daily morning and evening dua taught by the Prophet, peace be upon him, for protection, as they are a powerful shield Allah provides. Remember that our reliance should always be on Allah alone, as He is the only one capable of delivering true protection and security. Trusting in Allah's wisdom and power is a great source of peace and security. Removing amulets from our homes isn't just about a physical change, it's about renewing our trust in Allah and committing to pure oneness. By doing so, we invite blessings, strength, and genuine protection into our lives, free from dependence on worldly objects. This simple change can strengthen our faith and keep us focused on the true source of all protection, Allah, the Almighty. Section 4. Music instruments used for leisure. Another common item that can impact the spiritual atmosphere of our home is the presence of musical instruments, especially when used for leisure or entertainment purposes. In Islam, leisure activities are allowed as long as they don't distract us from worship or negatively influence our lives. Music, especially instrumental music, has been a topic of caution in Islam because it can easily become a source of distraction, taking us away from the remembrance of Allah and our responsibilities as Muslims. Music can strongly affect our emotions and thoughts. Its impact is so powerful that it can become addictive, and over time, it might replace the time we would otherwise spend in prayer, reflection, or acts of kindness. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "From among my followers there will be some people who will consider illegal sexual intercourse, the wearing of silk, the drinking of alcoholic drinks, and the use of musical instruments as lawful. And there will be some people who will stay near the side of a mountain, and in the evening their shepherd will come to them with their sheep and ask them for something, but they will say to him, 'Return to us tomorrow.' Allah will destroy them during the night and will let the mountain fall on them, and He will transform the rest of them into monkeys and pigs, and they will remain so till the day of resurrection." In this hadith, the Prophet, peace be upon him, warns us that certain actions, including the use of musical instruments, may lead believers to adopt behaviors that divert them from Allah's path. It reminds us to exercise caution and moderation in anything that could become a distraction from our faith. One issue with music is that it can often lead to a cycle of distraction, making us forget our priorities as Muslims. In contrast, the Quran and prayer offer lasting peace and comfort, strengthening our hearts rather than just distracting our minds. If you have musical instruments in your home, consider whether they serve a purpose aligning with your faith. Some people find that gradually reducing their time with music and replacing it with Quran recitation or Islamic reminders brings them a much deeper sense of peace. You could also encourage family members to try alternative activities that build spirituality and inner peace, such as learning new skills, spending time in nature, or reading Islamic books. Replacing music with Quranic recitation can also bring blessings into the home. Listening to the Quran has a calming and uplifting effect on our hearts, creating an atmosphere filled with the remembrance of Allah. It helps keep the heart connected to Allah, offering more peace than any form of music can provide. Islam encourages us to fill our lives with activities that bring us closer to Allah and strengthen our character. By being cautious with music and musical instruments, we create a home environment focused on what benefits us in the hereafter. Replacing worldly distractions with Islamic practices brings a deeper sense of lasting satisfaction and joy that leads us closer to Allah. Section 5. Non-Islamic books or materials. Finally, one of the most subtle but impactful things that can affect the spiritual atmosphere of our home is having books or materials that promote ideas or values contrary to Islam. These include books that focus heavily on materialism, promote non-Islamic ideologies, or even encourage lifestyles that go against our faith. Such books or media can influence our thinking, even without realizing it, gradually shaping our beliefs and attitudes in ways that may not align with Islamic principles. Islam encourages the pursuit of knowledge, but it also strongly emphasizes seeking beneficial knowledge, knowledge that strengthens our understanding of Allah, our purpose, and how to live a righteous life. Not all knowledge or content is valuable. Some ideas and narratives in books can subtly lead us to question our values or even develop doubt. For instance, books that promote atheism, excessive wealth without responsibility, or immoral behavior might seem harmless, but they can plant seeds of doubt or weaken our connection to Islamic values. The influence of the media is powerful, and over time, consuming content that doesn't align with our faith can impact our thinking. We may start to feel distant from the teachings of Islam, or we might find ourselves justifying ideas that are not Islamic. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us to guard our hearts and minds, as what we consume influences our behavior, beliefs, and even iman, faith. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "A man is upon the religion of his friend, so let one of you look at whom he befriends." While this hadith speaks about friends, its message applies to everything we keep close to us, including books and media. Just as friends influence our thoughts and actions, the content we read and consume shapes our beliefs and attitudes. If we fill our time with materials that stray from Islamic values, it can lead us away from Allah's guidance and weaken our faith. It's easy to overlook how something as simple as a book or magazine can affect our mindset. If we frequently read content that promotes values like excessive pride, materialism, or denial of Allah, it can influence us over time. This doesn't mean we should avoid all non-Islamic content, but rather be mindful of the messages we allow into our homes and hearts. Islam encourages us to be selective, choosing knowledge and materials that inspire us toward good deeds, humility, and closeness to Allah. If you have books or materials at home that may not align with Islamic values, consider replacing them with resources that nurture your soul and strengthen your faith. Islamic books, stories of the prophets, and inspiring stories of righteous individuals are all great alternatives that can bring peace and insight to your life. Reading materials related to your faith brings a sense of tranquility and purpose that other content lacks. Another helpful step is setting aside dedicated time each day to read the Quran or Islamic literature, and making this a family activity can be an excellent way to strengthen your connection with Allah and build an environment where beneficial knowledge flourishes. Islam teaches us to cultivate a home environment that encourages worship, peace, and positivity. Removing books or materials promoting non-Islamic ideas allows us to create a space supporting our faith and values. By being mindful of what we consume, we protect our hearts from doubt and nurture a household where everyone feels closer to Allah. This change may seem small, but its impact on our spiritual well-being can be profound. Thank you for watching this important reminder to keep our homes spiritually pure and aligned with Islamic values. Removing these 5 items creates a space filled with peace, blessings, and a stronger connection to Allah. Remember, small changes can greatly impact our iman and overall well-being. If you found this video valuable, please like, comment, and subscribe to Deen Explorers. Your support helps us continue sharing Islamic knowledge and reminders to strengthen our faith. Let us know in the comments if there's a topic you'd like us to cover next. May Allah guide and bless us all with homes full of His light and mercy. Thanks, and until next time, stay blessed and close to Allah.